hear me out, I'm dropping up another vision, which will take your mind a little bit up. And this is for the women, perimenopause, menopause women. And hello, hand in the air, I am one of those women. So we have got, and as you know, I see the visions, I deliver the visions. And as I did 15, 20 years ago, talk about the chemicals in the food, all of those things, the numbers and everything, what they're causing to people's emotions, food, to your guts. So now this is about the hormonal imbalances with notation to the menopause. So it's given we have hormonal imbalances, and it's given what, like we have it because of the chemicals in the food, animals are being fed with chemicals, the soil with chemicals, so much enriched with chemicals and shit. But then why do we happen to have such a, we can call it spiritual smackdown, soulful smackdown, we can call it life smackdown, or humongous curveball being given. And for somebody who, I didn't bleed for like now 8 years. So I would say, and seeing my body and, listening to my emotions and how we clear up those emotions. And the spirit was showing me, in the spiritual world, the wise women, the tribal stuff, the spirit, what has got to deliver from the tribal parts, from the healing point of view, and then to the modern 21st century, 2025, what has got to say about the menopause. And this is how I say it, that all our emotions have to be really shaken up. And it's almost like a flour sifting. So all the crap stays in that sieve, all the stuff goes through. But that transition for a woman in 21st century, 2025, is hard because we have got chemicals in the air, chemicals in the soil, chemicals in the environment, chemicals in the food. She is getting really shaken a lot. So that's what I said, that the chemical imbalance is kind of part of it, what needs to happen. Otherwise, we cannot siphon to see in that. I would say the word emotional maturity and intelligence, and it's like intelligence of being older, wiser, because when we go from, young woman and starting to bleed and, giving birth, like they all carry certain things for women to develop. And this is the next level of development. So does the hormonal balance and imbalances right now have to happen, because this is the modern world, what it is around us, that it shakes up. And it shakes up even more of your inner child, but it's not so much of the inner child, it's more about maturity, intelligence, reflections, contemplations, like a deeper levels, which are so much developing than the surface level. And then you go into the maturity, as I call it, the limitless woman, and my favorite level, zero fucks given level, where we go into it and we're not really worried about what Tom, Dick and Harry or any of the neighbors are doing or anything like that, except if it's affecting us or they're crossing our boundary. We don't care, because we know so much of it that, is a life short? We come to the stage where it's like, we're coming close to the 50 or being 50, and it's like, it's half a century. How much more we have got left on earth, or how much not? It's not like in olden times, and I say olden times, where it was like we would go to the funerals because somebody died of old age, or it was just like an accident, but it wasn't so much of all the other things what we have got now. So it's so much more become more complex. So do we have hormonal imbalances just to clear up the complexity around you? And more you focus on yourself, more you're within yourself, less hormonal imbalances you have. Emotionally, taking the supplements, everything is about the bloody emotions. Everything. And as you could have seen the post yesterday about the marketing, where the lady said like, oh, I'm employing the marketing agency, it's not happening. And I'm like, okay. And she goes like, what do I need to do? And I'm like, you need to do it and work on your energetics. And then we went into her inner child, what happened to her at certain ages and why it happened. And I'm like, okay. And so she goes, so why I was born in such a family that it's so hard? And I'm like, well, if we come on a soul contract to learn something, well, we're going to be born in polar opposite. Until you don't embody that, everywhere in life will be showing you all of those evidence. But you can change those evidence and change and create your new paradigm and shift it. So this is the same thing for regarding hormones. We can, menopause, we can actually not get a grasp of it, but we can deep down go in our heart, in our soul, so much of it. And then you will see how transition will be easier, because the inner child, the wounds will not going to be going and triggering in menopause. They're so much more highlighted, just like in pregnancy. And again, I will say this: if you don't deal with it, it's going to be compounded and compounded and compounded and compounded. It's going to be a big bucket full of shit. Let's go have a big bucket of goodness rather than full of shit. That's the only thing what's good is for the garden. But if it's instead of ourselves, when a curveball comes in and it pops, that's what it's going to be flying everywhere. And I want to give you visual, because in menopause, did you notice how much is like anger, cranky, short tempered, everything? Because we're going to that next level when there is no structure in this world, 21st century world, 2025. There is no structure. And women are not being taught except push, 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 which is such a masculine way. The same as in the small businesses. You're being told by female coaches, there is a strategy, there is a strategy, there is a strategy. And I know, because I participated in those things, and I'm like, no, that does not go well with me. I don't know why it doesn't go well with me. Because it's been taught by wounded, masculine strategy. I'm female. It's not going to go well with my business, especially with my business where it's nurturing people. So there is so much about energy and energetics and emotions in every single thing. What are you doing on a daily basis? So watch this and maybe watch it in 10 years time. And when everyone's like, oh, there's science-based background of this, like it is now about the chemicals in food. But my job is to spread the seeds, give you little things that you can actually start building and start seeing in your evidence. And this will come to fruition. And this is what a menopause is for the women, even more shaking up, because we're evolving and growing so much.